Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stephen A. Williams with Making Money with Stephen A. Williams. Hey, I have a confession to make. I just could not do it anymore with my business. I mean, this is the real deal story. And you might be going through this, so please pay attention to this. You can't be in business just to be collecting money and paying it out on the other side. The exercise that I'm about to take you through is one that I had to go through and learn the hard way, where I had actually built up a business. It was one of my newer companies. This was years ago, maybe about more than 10 years ago now. It's about 2013. I had went through a lot of years where that business was just not making too much, and then I had figured out some things with how to market that business online. And that business ended up getting to about $35,000 a month. But when I looked at all of my expenses, when I looked at everything that it took to get to $35,000 a month, I was shocked that I was not making that much money. I was really, from that business, I had, a lot of employees. It was a lot of overhead. And I was like, making way more money with this business than I was making before, and I'm not seeing, like, everybody else is getting paid. Advertisers getting paid, workers getting paid, suppliers and software providers, everybody getting paid, but I'm not getting paid. And so what I did is I had to make some adjustments, and I'm here to tell you that you do not want to run a business to where you're not making a substantial amount of money in your pocket. I'm not talking about just paying your bills. You want to make over and above. You want to have enough money to comfortably pay all of your expenses, all of your employees, your suppliers, all of that. That's one piece of your business. But you also want to make a very comfortable amount to be able to feel good about paying the taxes that you're going to have to pay. And then you need to have a substantial amount of money that goes into your pockets. I'm talking about where you're paying 50, 60, maybe even $100,000 a year in taxes. That means that you're making a substantial amount of money, not just where you're just spinning your wheels. Because trust me, if you build a business and you're just barely making it, you're not going to feel good. So this exercise will actually save you so you don't make the mistake that I made. And if you are making a mistake that I had made with that business, this is going to help you fix that mistake, because what I'm going to show you here is exactly what I did to fix it. So easily, and this is something that a lot of business owners don't do unless they maybe came from marketing, have a marketing background, but you have to be clear. You have to be clear about how much it costs you to acquire a customer, because this is where the mistake happens. You could be selling your services or products like hotcakes, but at the end of the day, you're not making enough money. And this is what you need to be aware of. So the first thing is, what is your budget to advertise? Some of the times when I talk to business owners, I'm like, well, what is your advertising budget? But I also don't just leave it at that, because that's something that I even hate to get asked when companies come to me about looking at trying to market my business. And I have utilized some companies before just to see if they could do it better than what we're doing. And most of them haven't, but not to say that other companies can't. But I've always hated just someone saying, how much is your budget? What you really need to be saying to customers, and what I say to people and what I teach, is that you need to have this breakdown. And when you have this breakdown, then this will allow you to, number one, determine how much money you want to spend, because it's going to be reverse, where you want to spend more money. You don't want to not spend more money on advertising, because you know how much money you're going to be making back. It's just like you're just turning on a water faucet and just letting letting the money come in, and you can turn it off when you need to slow business down. That's the situation you want to be in. So now let's look at this right here. Let's just say with this example, you have $100 a day ad budget. That's what you're going to go with. $100 a day ad budget. And from your $100 a day ad budget, you're generating, on average, just for this example, 10 leads. So it's costing you $10. And you hear people say, well, you know, what some of these acronyms like CPL, CPC, if you ever see this, CPL, cost per lead, that's what they're asking you. I don't know why people don't be just upfront about it. Just, you know, you don't need to use that. So your cost per lead is $10 per lead. And this exercise will let you know very quick about your company to see what you might be doing wrong. So now, of the 10 leads that you get, because not everyone who comes to your store, not everyone who visits your website, not everyone who you talk to on the phone or whatever you do is going to buy your product or service. We do not live in that type of world. It is impossible. No business is doing that. People walk into the Apple iPhone store or the Apple tablet store and they don't buy. A lot of people do that. They just browse. You know, you always see that. They car dealers, all businesses. So don't think that your business is any different than anyone else's if everybody is not buying. Happens with everybody. So now, let's say that you got 2 customers. So that's costing you $50 per sale. So you have your CPS, cost per sale, $50. Right there, what are we understanding about what we can and can't do? If your product or service only costs $50, you are in trouble. If your product or service only costs if it costs $50, you are in trouble because you can't even pay anyone else. And if you find yourself in this situation, that might be why you are struggling with your business, because you're like, we're making sales, but we're not making enough. I'm not going to go into it too much with this video, but even if you're just breaking even with your $50 product and you're getting 2 sales off of every $100 that you spend, there is a way out of there. Don't worry about that. You have the option to either raise your prices, or you have what we call like a upsell ability, which is what you see a lot of businesses doing with like oil change shops, or you might see it with cell phone stores where they're trying to increase the average ticket. So you might come in at $50, but they're going to end up trying to increase that. As a matter of fact, my wife and I were in Las Vegas this past week, and she ended up buying this case that goes on the phone. So, you know, you have your phone cases, but this case had a battery thing on there, and you could turn it off and on, and you can charge your phone. How many times have you ever been, you know, somewhere and you're like, my battery is going down? Well, this is attached to the phone, nice, thin. It was a very good invention. And my wife, she never stops to buy nothing when people approach her, and they use the strategy to get her attention. I'm going to talk about that in another video. But the product itself was very good. It was about they said $150. They discounted it down to like $120 or $115, and she got it, and it already paid dividends for her already. She don't even have to charge her phone the regular way. And but what they did is they also tried to step up. So they sold that product, but they wanted to make the average ticket higher. So they tried to sell her, and when she wasn't interested, they tried to sell me these headphones that were $400. They were so obviously and they said that they would even throw in what she had purchased for free if we bought the headphones. We didn't buy the headphones because, number one, I wasn't interested in buying those headphones. But I saw someone across from us buying those headphones. So they had changed a $125 sale into a $400 sale. So you can do step ups, and we'll talk about that in other videos. So for this example here, if you have your CPL and you have your CPS, your cost per sale, and then you have your cost of your product, and you minus all of that stuff, and you see what you're actually putting in your pocket. How much money are you putting in your pocket? When you know this number, you will know if your business is going to be able to survive. Because if you're selling it for, if it costs you for everything that you're doing $50, and you're selling it for $50, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. You're actually going to be losing money every day, because it's going to cost you money for your building, your electric, for whatever. You're going to get into this cycle of where you're making sales, but you're losing money. But maybe it's only like, it costs you, with all of this added up, it's only like $35. Or you're making like $35 profit. So then what you need to do, if you're making $35 profit, you need to see, with the $35 profit, how does that work with all of your other expenses that you have to pay with the employees? If you're leasing office space, supplies, you got to do all of that stuff. Hopefully you're keeping your expenses in something like QuickBooks or Quicken or some sort of software where all you have to do is just, you put your stuff into the register, and you can print out a report, and you can see where your business is going. And something that you might need to be aware of too, that I see a lot with my businesses, is that from month to month you may see the income go up, unless you have a business. One of my businesses is pretty steady from week to week, but on other ones, I will see that maybe 1 month it's lower profit, but on the second month it'll be like double the profit. And that's just because there's like a cycle to your business, but we won't get too much into that now. But so just figuring this part out right here, and you understanding how much profit goes into your pocket, and then you break down your other expenses, you will see how much money you're actually making. And when I did that with one of my businesses, the one that I told you about earlier, when I did that with one of my businesses, I immediately jacked up the price. That business, we were selling the service we had started at, when I first started the business, we were at $250 for that service. Then we rose the price to $325. And when we moved it to $325, that was when I started seeing right here that we have way more customers, but I'm not making as much money as I should be making. And so what I ended up doing next, I'm gonna just erase this part. Well, I don't want to erase that, because I want to do a review when we finish. I ended up raising that price to $584, and my sales team thought I was crazy. They were like, "You're gonna go from this amount all the way to this amount." What I had figured with this amount was how much money I wanted to go into my pocket for the stuff that I needed for myself. Number one, the compensation that I wanted for owning the business, I wanted it to be a certain level. And then I knew the taxes that I would have to take care of. So I wanted to make sure that that side was taken care of. And then the workers and everything else was taken care of on the other side. Now I have, just like I talked about with the headphones, I have upsell products from so a customer could come and pay this product, but they can also pay upwards to $2,000 more. So they could come in at this price and then end up paying that price and that price. So it'd be $2,584.95. And we have other upsells that we could make for that. So imagine if you have your two customers and they bought for $50, but one of the customers, you had your upsells, and you had an upsell like mine for $2,000. Think about the difference that would make for your business, because you don't have to worry about advertising to that customer. They were already part of your lead, so your cost per lead didn't change, but your profit is what's going to change. And that's what you need to pay attention with your business. So now let's do a quick review. We talked about how this is all about fixing it to where you're making money in your business, not where you're just paying bills with your business. So we talked about having an advertising budget, but we don't talk about just asking about a budget. We want to know why you need to have a budget, and the reason why is because we want to find out how much it's costing you to generate leads, and leads could be people coming into your store. And we know that everyone who comes to your store, or everyone who goes to your website, or everyone who you talk to on the phone does not buy your product or service. So we just had, for this example, it was costing $10 per lead, and you would end up getting 2 customers from that. And we used an example of $50 per sale. So that would be your cost per lead would be $10. Your cost per sale would be $50 per sale, because you had a $100 a day budget. So you understand that. And then the way to break down if you're making money is you want to see your cost per lead, your cost per sale, and your cost of the product, so you can see how much profit you're actually making with your business. And then you can determine how you want to increase that. Either raise your prices, like I ended up doing. We had 3 raises, and we're about to do another raise with that business. And then you have upsells. You want to have upsells to be able to increase the value, the dollar value of your leads. And then there's other things that you could do with the leads that did not convert, the first time when you went through them. So I hope you got a lot out of this video. Please post your questions and comments. If you need help with your business, there's links below this video here.